Hello, everyone. It's a real pleasure to be recording this short video to give you a quick overview on the Inclusive Insurance Innovation Lab. My name is Yannis Chrysostomidis, and I'm a principal with Rios Partners. I have with me my colleague Rachel Jones, who is also with Rios Partners, and Teresa Pelanda, who's our lovely colleague from the Access to Insurance Initiative, who will actually start us off by giving us a quick overview on the Inclusive Insurance Innovation Lab 4th edition. Teresa, over to you.
Thank you, Yannis. Hello, my name is Teresa Pelanda. I work for the Access to Insurance Initiative, the A2II, and I'm the project manager of this 4th Inclusive Insurance Innovation Lab. The Access to Insurance Initiative is a global initiative working with insurance supervisors to support them in promoting access to insurance for unserved, underserved, and vulnerable populations. Back in 2017, together with Rios Partners, the A2II developed the III Lab, the Inclusive Insurance Innovation Lab, to bring together insurance supervisors and key market players in a structured innovation process to develop insurance markets in a way that is innovative, sustainable, and impactful for those who need it the most. Climate change and its devastating impact have become a burning topic in insurance over the last couple of years. And that's why we decided to conduct the previous and now the current lab on this specific topic. This lab aims at supporting country teams in finding and implementing innovative solutions to increase resilience against natural catastrophes in their countries. I would like to highlight that when we talk about innovating or innovative solutions in the insurance sector, we are not only referring to developing new insurance products. Innovations can include a wide range of solutions or approaches, like, for example, new regulations, new regulatory tools or approaches. It could also be an innovation of products or of processes, distribution channels, or payment systems. It could be activities like, for example, insurance education programs, or it could be a combination of those. The lab provides a space for motivated and passionate people from insurance sectors across the world. Our aim is to support the participants to work together, to learn from each other, but the outcomes are completely country-driven. The lab follows an innovation and design process through a customer-centric lens. The process also makes space for multi-stakeholder interactions within the market as well as peer exchanges across markets. This richness of perspectives with a customer-centric focus leads to innovative ideas taking shape. We believe that bringing the participants' expertise together has potential to scale the influence they have within their organizations and within their countries to increase access to insurance for all. Thank you, and over to you.
Thank you, Teresa. Now, we'd like to start by framing a little bit what is the kind of problem we're going to be working with. And climate change is what many have called a wicked problem. It's not a technical problem. And there's a real difference in how we approach these different problems. Technical problems are easy to identify, and they often lend themselves to quick and easy solutions, and they can be solved by using experts. Sometimes they require change in just one place, and they're attractive sometimes to solve because what needs to be done is clear, and we feel good about solving them in that sense, and we can implement the solutions quite quickly. Now, a wicked problem, such as the ones that we're going to be working on in the lab, are more difficult to identify. Of course, climate change is an obvious problem, but actually how to solve various aspects of climate risk situations in your countries would be difficult if we don't dive deeper. They might require changes in values, sometimes in beliefs, in roles and relationships and approaches to how to get the work done. We would require the people with a problem to do the work of solving it. So we would need people who have problems related to the climate problematic situations you're going to be working on to come into the lab and help us solve it. They will require changes in numerous places. And they can be overwhelming, really, because what needs to be done is unknown and it's unclear how to start. we're going to be working and finding solutions by experimenting and discovering as we go along. We often start the lab in explaining what really the lab is at its core by showing the image of an elephant and these six blind men. So there's a story that goes that there was an elephant in a nearby village where these six blind men used to live. And they wanted to actually understand how that elephant, that animal looks like. They'd never seen one before, and they'd never heard of one before. So they went down to the village and they start touching the elephant. The person in the front started touching the elephant's nose, and they started thinking that the elephant is a bit more like a snake. The one at the side started touching the elephant's side, and they start thinking that maybe the elephant is a bit more like a wall. The one that's at the back started touching the tail and thought that the elephant feels a bit like a rope. And only when these six people sat together and talked about what they saw, they could actually piece the puzzle together, so to speak, and have a more complete picture of what the elephant is. And so in that sense, we're all going to be sitting in a diverse group of people in the lab, understanding what the problematic situation is. A second image we usually start with when we're explaining what the lab is about is the image of a factory versus the image of a lab. What a factory feels like here on the left is a place where it's very neat, very cleanly organized. There's precision involved, there's efficiency. If we're going to get a factory operating well, it's about doing what you did yesterday, the same thing you're doing today. And maybe next day, tomorrow, you'll do it a little faster. This is maybe an efficient environment, but it's not an environment that you can innovate and break through. So the lab is a place on the right where you can see that accidents can happen. It's unprecedented what you're going to discover. And you really need to kind of have a different mindset and embracing failure. And so we're going to fail often in the lab, and we're going to have many, many little accidents. And hopefully, though, we're going to discover things that will really help us incrementally solve the problems at a different scale and not just by small degrees. Just very quickly, what you will actually be doing in the lab is a number of things. You're going to be learning a lot about emerging international climate risk solutions. You're going to be addressing a challenge you face in your country. You're going to be engaging in peer exchange with other country teams. We have 3 country teams for the 4th lab, Armenia, Nepal, and Senegal. You're going to be strengthening your leadership skills and personal development, and you're going to be building alliances and capacities to act not only in this lab, but in the future as well. We're going to be working in multiple levels, so you as individuals will learn and grow. You're going to work and grow as a team. You're going to take the learnings in your organizations, and you're going to help your organizations grow. And also, you're going to be building further the sector and the broader system that you're going to be part of. You're going to iterate, as I said, you're going to work in a non-linear, non-cyclical way, breaking the model of design, implement, evaluate, and you're going to learn a lot. And for that to happen, you need to embrace a culture of not knowing and feel vulnerable around not knowing and not having all the solutions in hand. So we'll invite you to also not only work in your head, but also your heart, so your passion and what you care about, and the hands, so actually doing things, not just thinking about them. I'm going to hand over now to my colleague Rachel, who will take us through the program and what you might actually expect to happen.
Thanks so much, Yanis. Hello to the teams from Armenia, Nepal, and Senegal. We're really looking forward to meeting you. What Teresa outlined is, the overarching reason of, why we're convened together to work on climate risk solutions. And Yanis has explained something around the methodology, like what is the overarching thinking behind social lab methodology. And where I'm going to take us is a little bit more into the detail of the program, a little bit more of the architecture or the thinking behind it, a bit more about the country teams and who participates. So one of the real advantages of the lab is that we have the three of you as teams working in a parallel journey as country teams, and then coming together for this peer exchange at an international level. And the program has 3 phases to it. And in each phase is a national process and an international process, and a combination of face-to-face workshops, as well as the benefits of being able to work virtually across continents. So the phase where we are now is this country team composition. So it's really about convening the right people to solve the climate question that your jurisdiction holds in inclusive insurance. And then we move into meeting in the discovery phase in a national workshop, 2.5 days in country, in person. And you'll have myself or Yanis and a team from A2II facilitating those workshops. And then a month or so later, we meet online for 4 virtual 2-hour sessions where that peer exchange starts to happen. And then we move into the international phase, which is a national process, which is virtual, 6 virtual 2-hour sessions. And then we meet the highlight in Frankfurt for a 4-day in-person international innovation incubator. And then we move into the implementation stage, which can be either virtual or in person, and then have a closing off as international peer session online. And each of these phases has a different purpose. So the discovery phase is really trying to get that bigger picture view of the problem you're trying to solve. The example of the elephant and the blind men. So it's really opening up to what is the whole picture telling us. And then the innovation phase covers this factory versus lab, a lot of experimenting, innovative, testing, trying things out. And then the implementation phase is like having learned all that we've learned, what can we start applying into our sector? So this is an outline of the program, and it runs from October, November until October 2024. So one of the main methods that we use when thinking about this program and the design is design thinking. And this is what's known as the double diamond. And so in the first phase, like we said, the discovery phase, we're looking into insight into what the problem is. And then in that innovation phase, we're doing the middle of the first diamond to the middle of the second diamond, where we're trying to work out where do we focus on, where are some of the places of leverage that we can try and create maximum shift with the problem we're trying to solve. And we start in that second diamond developing solutions. So this is the innovation phase, defining the problem area we want to focus on, and then starting to test out some and develop some solutions. And we move into the second part of that second diamond, into trying to deliver solutions that work, which is the implementation phase. So we're following this map when we're working in the social innovation lab. So how do we choose who participates? So the country teams are set up with 16 team members from 8 institutions. And in the calls that we're having with supervisors at the moment, each country has put a problem statement on the table around the area that they want to work around. and then a list of who they think the best organizations are to address that challenge. And it's we invite diversity, so it's not only private sector, it's not only the regulator, it's civil society, and even associations that are represent the target group that you're trying to solve the challenge for. So those are the core team members who would participate in all the workshops. But obviously, this work is set within a context and a sector, and for it to be sustainable, it needs to be connected to that ecosystem. And so we also ask the question of who else can support this lab process, and especially help sustain it at the end. So the teams, you will map out, who are the extended team members that need to be consulted or kept informed, and who can help execute some of the work that you'll be doing in the lab. I've spoken about the high level about who participates, but just to break it down in a bit more detail. So the country teams can consist of, well, importantly, the insurance supervisors or regulators, insurance associations, industry representatives like brokers, intermediaries, MFIs, etc., policymakers, ministries, tech representatives, environmental organizations, consumer representatives, or other stakeholders perceived to be essential. And often you can think about, like, who are some of the unlikely allies that could add value to the voices that you need to understand more about in order to solve this problem. We try and have 2 participants from each organization, a participant that has seniority, that's able to influence and make decisions, and another one that can implement or operationalize some of the work, and that we encourage fluency in English as the lab is run in English. So here are what we call the rules of participation, or the rules of engagement. So for this really to work well, it requires a level of commitment to participate in all of the workshops, to have backing from your institution, to be present and fully engaged, and be interactive in this process. The lab method invites it uses participatory dialogue methods. So it's very difficult to be part of a workshop and not be engaged. There isn't a space for observers at all. And the way it's set up is to invite your thinking and your solutions, and for you to take ownership of it. And the other rule for participation is that you have resources for traveling to the national workshop and the international process that takes place face-to-face. So this was just a short video clip to give you an overall picture of what the lab is about, a bit about the methodology, and a bit about the program and who's involved. What we'll be doing next is having some what we call onboarding conversations with each of your institutions, and a kickoff workshop, and we've set possible dates with the supervisors for these workshops, which will take place in country. So we look forward to meeting you soon and having further discussions. Back to you, Yanis.
Just to echo what Rachel said, we're really looking forward to meeting you soon and working with you over the next year. Thanks a lot, and we'll be in touch soon.